Is everyone
Yes.
good with it? Okay, awesome. Well, I'll get started because I want to respect everybody's time. But I appreciate you all being here for today's discovery call on cellular activation. And there's so much capabilities and there's so many things inside of your body that I believe are miraculous and you can turn them on. And that's why we're here tonight, so we can share what activation is all about and how you can really get more out of your body's design. So let's get going. So I can't believe it, but we are in the final quarter of 2024. Tamar and I did a presentation at the beginning of 2024 when we asked, everybody who joined, what are your goals for 2024 in terms of wellness? And even though 2024 is almost over, it's the perfect time to ask yourself, how do you want to finish the year? Because it, it matters what happened in the beginning of the year, but also we can do so much for ourselves going into the new year, to set us up to not have to get to the new year and make really large resolutions and try to maintain them in the dead of winter. So this is a soapbox of mine, but I won't get into it tonight. But we make all these resolutions, and our new year with the calendar we have now is in winter when everything is hibernating. So we try to make all of these bold moves and changes, and it's winter. So for me this year, I am approaching the holidays differently so that when 2025 rolls up, I'm already feeling energized and ready to go. I'm not trying to make changes um, to feel better. I want to go in feeling vibrant and energetic. So that's my thoughts as we get going. This is a little bit of our journey today. Tamara and I are really passionate about sharing how cellular activation can influence your life and your wellness. And it's a different perspective. It's a new perspective. It's one that people haven't heard about just because it takes time for information to, spread. And in terms of research, you know, cellular activation, it's been around for a little while, and the research went beyond, back even farther, but people still haven't heard about some of the concepts that we're going to share tonight. So that's why we're really passionate about sharing. So just a little bit about Tamar and I. We're really passionate about holistic wellness. We want everyone to have the most vibrant life that they can for themselves. And we want to build community. We want to have a group of people who really want to focus on their highest well-being and do life together and check in and take care of one another. So it's not disconnected, but we really have a vision of connectedness. And we always say at the end that we're slightly weird and proud of it. So our weirdness will come out when it wants to. But I won't go too much into our backgrounds because we all are familiar with one another. But I retired from the National Guard about 2 years ago, and I used to be a hospital chaplain. And my own health journey really um, directed me toward holistic wellness. And that's my passion now, is helping people avoid crisis and to live the best life possible. And Tamara owns a childhood consignment store in Michigan, and she's been like biohacking for years and years, decades. She's been just trying to get the most out of her biology and the design of her body. So I really have a lot of respect for Tamara and all that she does for herself. So when we're talking about wellness, like what are the challenges? And some of them we may not even think about because they're on the inside, right? So you may have heard of free radical damage, also known as oxidative stress. It is one of the root causes of diseased states. So when we get out of homeostasis in our bodies, oxidative stress is one of the root causes. And you can see what happens in terms of an apple when you cut it open and you leave it on the counter, it browns because of oxidation. Well, the same thing's happening on the inside of our bodies. And also, our cells are just being bombarded with free radicals. And in our modern society, there's even more because we have technology everywhere. We're layering 4G with 5G. There's just so many things. Our food is not really food. And so that poses a lot of challenge to us. And I challenge you to do this. If you go to PubMed and you search oxidative stress and then a disease state, you can see how many articles there are on the links. And you can see how it exponentially, the graph goes like this. How back years ago, there was very little research, and now the research is becoming more and more prevalent. So that's one of the root causes of, what ails us just in general, but especially in our modern society. So as I was mentioning, you can go to PubMed, you can research and just look at the results. So that's just a brief mention. It's very interesting and eye-opening to do. So a little bit about cellular activation, and that's what the technology that Tamar and I share. So it's different than supplementation. Supplementation, we try to, fill gaps maybe in our diet or something that's lacking in our body, whether it's vitamin D or something else. But we're trying to fill gaps. Activation, like I said, the research is more recent and it utilizes your built-in capabilities of your body to slow the aging process and also repair the damage from free radical damage and other assaults to our wellness by activating your body and turning on essentially built-in pathways, but also affecting how your genes are expressing. And that is the concept of nutrigenomics, that nutrients can affect our genes. So it's an area of research that's blowing up. And where our company and the technology got started, I'm going to let Tamar talk about this, but it goes back to a man named Dr. McCord who did years of research before he came up with this discovery. So I'm going to let Tamar cover this because she's really passionate about sharing it.
Yes. Oh, Dr. Joe McCord. I didn't know anything about free radical biology, and like Mary was saying, I've learned so much about biohacking. I didn't know that some of the things that I was doing to help myself overcome some of my challenges were actually biohacking your body and helping to assist your body to optimal function. But Dr. Joe McCord was a free radical biologist, and he won the Elliott Cresson Medal for his discovery of free radicals in the body. And some of the other people that are in his company that have also won this very prestigious award are Henry Ford, Nikola Tesla, and Marie Curie, among others, which is a impact invention or creation of something that will have an impact on humanity for a century. Like it's a century, something that's a discovery that will have an enhancement on how our society functions. And his discovery was helped him to create protanum NRF2, which is what turns on and activates our glutathione production. So it's pretty amazing.
Awesome. Thank you, Tamar.
Yeah.
So we'll get
Thank you,
in.
Dr. Joe McCord.
Yeah. Uh, like there's a lot of brilliant people in the world get the benefit.
He
Uh,
is one of them.
yeah. I often joke that like if it was just me in the world, we wouldn't be driving anywhere, we wouldn't live in buildings, we wouldn't be flying anywhere. Like people are amazing. But yeah, so Dr. McCord, he discovered our master antioxidant in our body called superoxide dismutase. So he and another researcher were the ones who discovered that antioxidant enzyme. So um, things were getting out. He actually did some of his research in Denver at the University of Colorado. And ABC Primetime got hold of like this, oh, they're saying these things about free radical repair, damage repair. And so ABC Primetime came and did an investigative report on it. And so John Quinones came and he started on the NRF2 activator, which at that time was still being researched. And they found that, in less than 30 days, it reduces oxidative stress to the level that you'd find in an infant. So that ABC clip, we have it if you want to watch it. But that he's still activated years later. And I think that's a testament to the research that we have. There's a few other things we can activate that we'll kind of briefly touch on in a little bit. But if you are a science person and you want to see videos on the different activation pathways, just let me know. I can get that for you, and happy to share. I like the science, but I know not everybody is into it. But if you are, we can get that for you. So you can kind of see this lady on the right. This was her results from pairing the NRF2 activator with our activated collagen. So as Tamar and I have learned as we've gone along, there's gene for everything. There's a gene to produce your collagen, and there's a gene that ends up degrading your collagen. And we can affect all of those genes with activation. So out of that ABC Primetime, they realized that we actually have an FDA approved statement because of the scrutiny on it. So our FDA approved statement is that we can reduce oxidative stress by 40% in 30 days with the NRF2 activator, which is a combination of herbs, 5 herbs microdosed. So it's pretty amazing. After that time, a lot of independent organizations started to research NRF2 activation and Protandim. And one of the research studies by Washington State University said that it could become the most extraordinary therapeutic and preventative breakthrough in the history of medicine. And with what we've seen, that's why we share, because I think of that insurance commercial. We know some things because we've seen some things. We share because we've seen some things. And while we don't claim to treat, cure, mitigate disease because it's a supplement, there are things that we can say based on research. So it's pretty awesome. So just going a little farther, there's other pathways that we can activate. If you go to PubMed and you type in mitochondrial dysfunction and a disease state, you can see the link between that. That's another root cause of hundreds of disease. And lately I've been seeing just the connection with neurological conditions, and mitochondrial dysfunction has been something I've really wanted to look into. But then we can also activate our NAD, which sirtuins are longevity proteins, and that is what increases when you do intermittent fasting. But there's some challenges with intermittent fasting, like cortisol levels and things. But our NAD activator is more effective in 24 hours than 30 days of intermittent fasting to increase your sirtuin production. So that's pretty amazing. And then they've shown that when you combine them all, it's synergistic and it increases the effect by 1900%, which is huge. So really the power of the activation is just teaming up with the power of your body. We mentioned SOD, the antioxidant enzyme. You can see it here in the antioxidant pyramid. And it's one of the master antioxidants that we have, along with catalase and glutathione. There are people who go and get glutathione IVs, but our bodies can actually produce it. We just have to flip that switch so that our bodies can do what they were designed to do. And what I really love, this quote by Dr. Brimhall, he's a functional chiropractor. He said, we're no longer supplementing our deficiencies and kind of chasing our tails and going in circles. We're literally activating pathways to control the aging and healing processes. So I love that quote. And for me personally, I share because, like I said, I've just seen the testimonies of others and our the ones we have ourselves. But this woman here, I have her in my notebook. She shared at one of our conferences, and she said because of the opportunity and the activators, it gave her life back, that she could live and not just exist. And I put her in my binder because if I can help just one person, then it's worth it. And yeah, more on that later. But that's why I'm passionate about sharing it. And if you want to see who has researched the technology, these are some of the organizations that have done that. And so if you're a research person and you like to see the research studies, just let me know and I can get those to you, no problem. So the next slide I wanted to show you is like what's possible. So the cool thing about activation is it works in all mammals. So whether it's a horse or a dog, people put their cats on the activator. So it's cool to see what's possible, and it's because it gets to the root cause of what's happening. So you can, like the picture of the foot on this graphic really gets me. So it's some people lose their skin pigmentation, but you can see in this picture this person's pigmentation started to fill back in after they started activating. And that testimony has been around for a long time. So now we're just starting to activate more and more. And I love the synergy. So one of the things that Dr. Dispenza says that I really love is like, don't limit your transformation. So I think anything is possible, and an activation just really helps your body to do what it's supposed to do. So the last thing I wanted to note was the activated collagen results that I had with my eyes. So those are my eyes in the bottom right-hand corner. I didn't realize it, but I've been activating since like 2020, November 2020. And I had years ago and stopped and got back on. But about 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, our activated collagen came out. And our eyes are 90% collagen. And so we were seeing people have drastic changes in their eyes. And you can see the lady above me. You can just see how her eyes, it almost looks like your eyes get bigger because everything is just pulling up. But I didn't even realize the brightness of my eyes, the white of my eyes, and then my left eyelid, if you can see that. It's like I got an eyelid lift, but I didn't. It's literally from the activated collagen, which just blows my mind. So the newest activator that's been released just recently is a GLP-1 activation system. So GLP-1, I really didn't know much about it until this came out. But GLP-1 is a hormone in your body, and there's a lot of pharmaceutical companies that are mimicking this hormone because it's involved in weight management and insulin management. And as I'm learning, it's also cardioprotective and neuroprotective. And so, but a lot of these drugs on the market have really nasty side effects. I did a little test today. I watched one of the GLP-1 drug commercials, and out of 1 minute, 30-second ad, 38% of the ad was devoted to side effects, which included suicidal ideation. And so I was like, okay, I'm so happy that there's a natural option on the market that can activate your body to produce the GLP-1 again and also minimize the degradation. Because our modern society is hard on our hormones, whether, it really is the food that we eat, the processed food can harm our communication between our gut and our brains. And our communication system is awry. Our brains are not realizing when we're full, and it's not realizing that we have extra fat to use as fuel, and it just keeps storing more fat. So there was actually an independent clinical trial on this system, people that were not on any other activation products, and you can see the results there on the screen for what they found. And honestly, many people are having visible results in a week, to be honest. So it depends obviously on the person. Everybody's different, and it's not just about what's happening on the inside. It's really what's happening on the inside. So one of the things that they found is that there was a reduction of visceral fat. So that was really awesome that we have an independent research study on that. There were these two consultants that I wanted to highlight. They were on like the trial for the consultants that earned the right to trial it. There were 55 of them. And so Gloria, she's on the left. Those were her results. And she did a really great presentation on GLP-1 and what it is, and just really the digestive system and how it's gone haywire in our modern society. So if you're interested in watching that, I'd be happy to send it to you. But her results are awesome. And what's great is we're not finding muscle wasting with the natural system, and with the synthetic versions of the GLP-1 drugs. There was about, depending, I looked it up for different ones, it was about 25% to 36% muscle wasting. So this allows you to keep your muscle. And then on the right, that's Shauna. She's been really sharing her journey with all of us, and not only her results with inches and pounds, but really her feeling of being more in control with food. And one of the things I'm noticing, because I'm on the product, because I want to understand what it feels like to be on it and things like that for my clients. But she basically said it's reduced her food craving. She's not always thinking about food, like her next meal. And I feel like processed food is a really big factor in that, because it's meant to be addicting, but it also doesn't notify your brain that you're full. Like, I don't know about you, but like a bag of chips, if I open a bag of chips and, start eating chips, I will not feel full, and I could literally eat half the bag. I know my husband Fabrice, if you ever are with him when he eats chips, he could literally eat a whole bag by himself, not feel full. So she's really said that it's helped control her craving. She's not thinking about food all the time. And she said that she feels empowered and helping other people to feel the same. And she shares vulnerably that she's struggled with her weight for a lot of her life. And so we're really happy for her. In 7 weeks, she's down 20 pounds, which is awesome. So that's the new activation system that we have out. So I wanted to definitely make sure I mention that. But in terms of all the information that we've shared, there are next steps if you want to explore more, or there might be people that who need to hear what we've shared today. So as a holistic wellness coach, I offer something called a holistic transformation jumpstart, and it's a 1-hour assessment, and then I come up with a personal action plan. And so that's just one of the things I offer with my coaching program. And you can see the investment there. The investment is $250, but that is just one option, just something I like to offer and throw out there. If you want to book a holistic transformation jumpstart, you'll receive, if you decide you want to activate, a 5% rebate on an order. And then if you want, we do free consultations as well. You can schedule a time to talk to either Tamar or myself, and we'll just, talk about your needs and what might be helpful to you. So those are some next steps. And then our vision is, like I said earlier, we really want to join in community with others and all experience the most vibrant life possible. And so we have the Vibrant Life community group on Facebook. And then, we have a vision too. We're building a community of people who want to advocate for wellness and empower others to live their most vibrant life. And what I love about partnering with LifeVantage is that we tap into three holistic markets that are expected to like exponentially rise over the next or like by 2030. So clean beauty, longevity, and now GLP-1. So if you are looking for an additional stream of income or an opportunity like that, know that that's always an option. We share it because, that's we want to let everybody know what's possible and what's available, and then you guys get to decide what you want to do next. So that's us, that's activation. And so that's what we're passionate about sharing. So if you have any questions, you can feel free to ask. And you can always email me. My email is up on the screen. Um, and we're all connected on Facebook. And if you're watching this, reach out to one of us. But you can always send an email as, a last resort if you're watching the replay and want to get a hold of us. So yeah, does anybody have any questions?